Hello. Okay. In the previous class, we were discussing about tapped C and tapped L, tapped L transformers. Okay. So these transformers, tapped L and tapped C transformers, are used to increase the input resistance. That is RS. Okay. If there is a low resistance is there, RS is low. Source resistance is low, then quality factor of the resonator will be less. So we have to increase the input resistance. As we discussed, it is difficult to increase the input the resistance R because it is the output resistance of some circuit. Okay, so that is maybe R, maybe RS may be fixed value. It may be like a 50 ohm. Okay, so it is a lesser, very less. If you calculate the quality factor using 50 ohm for a given resonator circuits, even L and C are perfect. You will be getting circuit will be lesser. Okay, so so in such a case, if it is impossible to have a value of higher value of RS, okay, if it is fixed and if it is lower, in such a case, we can increase the value of RS. By splitting the capacitor or a inductor, that is called as a tapped L or a tapped C transformers. Using any of this, you can make a effective input resistance or effective resistance, source resistance. Looks like it is increased. It To the entire circuit, the input resistance increases to the higher value. Okay, so what that how the value of that resistance, how much it increases, that depends upon the circuit. Okay, and components that tapped C or tapped L that inductor or a capacitor values. Okay, so in the previous class we have seen this is a tapped C transformer, this is a tapped L transformer. In the tapped C transformer, input impedance, that is input resistance, increases to this value. This is RS. It is from the source. It is a fixed value, maybe 50 ohm like that. But by splitting like this C1 by C2, if you divide the capacitor, first you design a resonator circuit and we have a capacitor value based on the resonant frequency. You take that capacitor and split it into two values like this, C2 and C1. Okay, so that RS depends upon the value of C1 and C2 through this equation. So by properly choosing the value of C1 and C2, we can get a value of RS dash. That is the required value of RS. Okay. So like that, we can increase the resistance. So if you do like this, to the entire circuit, to the resistance RS is not now equal to RS. It is equal to RS dash. So automatically in the calculation of quality factor, it will take this RS dash. Okay, so if it is a higher value, you will be getting quality factor also increases. So like that, we can increase the resistance RS by splitting this capacitor or inductor. So that overall capacitor C, because we are connected like this in the series, so it is a C1, C2, C1 plus C2. So this is a capacitor calculated using resonant frequency. That procedure we already did in the previous classes. How to design a resonator circuit. You get a value of capacitor through that procedure. Then you can use this to get the value of C1, C2, and okay, C1 and C2. Similarly, we can do for we can use a inductor also, tapped L transformer. So this is a circuit diagram for tapped L. Here is a inductor, total inductor. It is a tapped at the center like this. You can choose a number of turns below and above, because usually inductor consists it is a wire wounded in the form of like this. So it has a number of turns here. So you can choose a N1, any value for a N1. Okay, total number of turns is a n. This n1 is number of turns in the below this part here. So by properly choosing this number of turns in the here, you can increase the resistance. See like this. So we are not adding any extra components here. Whatever the capacitor and inductor we will get for a resonator circuit, just by splitting that inductor and a capacitor, we can increase the resistance. So here also, so just we are splitting like this, n1 by n1. So choose the value of n and n1. You can increase the resistance. It depends upon the value of this. So total inductor is inductor of this. Total inductor is inductor of this coil. Okay. So like this, either any one of these you can use. So now we will see how the problem may appear in the examination regarding this tapped L and tapped C transformers. Okay. So this is a question here. Is it audible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. This design a resonant circuit such that it operates between RS 50 ohm and RL is equal to 2000 ohm, 2K, and with a quality factor of 20 at the center frequency F naught equal to 100 megahertz. The inductor has a quality factor 100 at 100 megahertz. Use a tapped C transformer to achieve the desired quality factor Q. Okay, the statement is here: design a resonator circuit that is operates between 50 ohm. As you can see, this is only 50 ohm, but load resistance is 2k, 2 kilo ohms. Okay, and what we are the quality factor needed is Q is equal to 20. We need a quality factor of that resonator should be equal to circuit quality factor. This is circuit quality factor needed is 20. Okay, and it should operate at 100 megahertz. Center frequency is 100 megahertz. Okay, quality factor is 20, circuit quality factor, and it should resonate at f naught equal to 100 megahertz. So circuit quality factor and center frequency, you can calculate the bandwidth of that. Okay, this is desired quality factor. 20 is desired here, and it should operate at 100 megahertz. Okay, and one more statement here given: the inductor has a quality factor of 100 and at 100 megahertz. Okay, it is given because quality factor may change with respect to frequency. That's why at the operating frequency they have given quality factor of inductor. So automatically quality factor of inductor given means it is a imperfect QC. Okay, 100 is given, so it is not a perfect inductor. It has a resistance, that inductor. Okay, use a tapped C transformer to achieve the desired. Okay, but quality factor of capacitor is not stated here. Quality factor of capacitor is not given, so you can assume it is a perfect capacitor. Capacitor is perfect. Okay, because it is not mentioned here, automatically you can treat this as a perfect capacitor, and quality factor is infinity. Okay, but inductor is imperfect, so you should consider the quality factor of that. Okay, so that is a given here. So, and another is okay. So here is a 50 ohm. So it should the resonator circuit. So resonator circuit this is a one. Okay. So this resonator circuit L is given. L is values are not given. C value, L values are not given. But they stated this L is a imperfect component, but C is a perfect component. Okay, and it should operate between 50 ohm and 2000 ohm. Okay, so because L is given, it is imperfect, you should keep its equivalent circuit, parallel equivalent circuit. So this is a equivalent circuit now. This is a circuit diagram. XP is, this is a capacitor, is a perfect, and RPL and XP, this is a inductor equivalent circuit. So the now resonator circuit is this. This is a resonator circuit. Okay, and now next is what they asked: use a tapped C transformer to achieve the desired Q. Okay, see, desired Q means see, Q needed is 20. Okay, but if you use this 50 ohm as a RS and RL as 2K, you do not get a quality factor equal to 20. Okay, that is a 1 year. If you use RS is equal to 50 ohm, RL is equal to 2K, you do not get a quality factor equal to 20. That's why what we have to do, you have to use a tapped C transformer. Quality factor is lesser only if you use a 50 ohm RS and this is a 2K. Okay, so we have to use this tapped C transformer to achieve this 20. Q is equal, circuit Q is equal to 20. Okay, so here RS is a 50 ohm, as you can observe here. RS is 50 ohm and this is 2K. So at resonant frequency, what we are expecting, the entire power from here must deliver to the load RL. Okay. But for maximum power transfer, as all of you know, maximum power transfer, we need this RS must be equal to this RL. Then only maximum power will be delivered to this at the resonant frequency even. Okay. So, but they are not equal. This is 50 ohm, this is a 2K. Okay, so automatically mismatch. So there is no maximum power delivered to the load resistance RL. So what we are expecting this value instead of 50 ohm, we are expecting this RS must be equal to 2K. It's correct for maximum power transfer. So because at resonant frequency, this reactance cancels. The circuit is even it is a this resistance and this resistance. Okay, but maximum power will not be delivered to this because this is not equal to source resistance. So that is a problem here. Okay. So what for maximum power transfer, what we needed is this 50 must be equal to 2K. Then only RS must be equal to RL. Then only we'll be getting. Okay, maximum power transfer. So what is the required value of RS? We can decide from this problem statement. Okay, this RS must be equal to 2K. Okay, now required value, call it as a RS dash. See like this RS dash. What is the RS dash required? This is 2K. Okay, and so this RS dash related through this equation. Okay, tapped C transformer. We are using tapped C transformer. This is the equation. RS dash equal to RS 1 plus RS is equal to 1 plus C1 by C2. Okay, this is a tapped C circuit. So this inductor we are keeping along with this. See RPL along with this XP kept as it is. See this is a 1. Okay, because this capacitor we have to split. Okay, this capacitor we have to split into two. That is C2 and C1. See like this is a circuit C2 and C1, this capacitor, and this one we left as it is, and this RL is there as it is. Okay, this is our circuit now. So here from this equation, so for tapped C, this is the equation RF dash equal to RS 1 plus C. So here RS given, you substitute whatever it is, 1 plus C1 by 2 you take. And now we can get from here this equation C1 by C2 equal to 5.3 ratio. We can get a ratio of C1 by C2, that is equal to 5.3. Okay. Okay, so this is first you got a ratio of C1 C2. Next we will see next what to do. So we have to find out the value of this inductor. We don't know, they are not given. Inductor value is not given and capacitor is also not given. Okay, what is that capacitor? That is a total capacitor, that is also not given. You should find out that inductor value and capacitor value based on the frequency. Okay, whatever operating frequency. To do that, so next we got a one ratio C1 by C2 needed is this 5.3, but the total capacitor we don't know, that we have to get, and also inductor value we do not know, that also you have to get. To get those, we should go through this equation previous similar to the previous resonators design. That is inductor, we know inductor is a given 100, quality factor 100 at 100 megahertz. Okay, so quality factor of inductor equal to Rp divided by Xp. This equation you already have. Quality parallel combination that is given by Rpl divided by Xp. So that is equal to 100 here. Okay, Rp equal to 100 times Xp. Sorry, mistake here. Rp equal to, okay, so this Rp equal to 100 Xp from this equation. Okay, sorry, this this is not there. Okay, so this Rp is equal to 100 Xp from this equation. Okay, next that I have written. It's RPL, that is the inductor resistance divided by Xp equal to 100. So from here RPL is equal to 100 ohm. This RPL is equal to 100 ohm. 100 into Xp. From this equation RPL is equal to 100 into Xp. Okay, this is not an equation. The equal is not there. Okay, so the quality factor Q Next you go to, this is from the RPL is equal to 100 times XP. This is from quality factor of the inductor. Next, you go to the circuit quality factor. Circuit quality factor also we know. Okay, so that is given by Req divided by XP. And what is Req? It is Rs dash in parallel with RL in parallel with RPL. Okay, because we already we are using the tapped C transfer means Rs increased, assuming it is equal to Rs dash, that in parallel with RL in parallel with the RPL. Okay, divided by XP. So now see here, Rs dash, the RL we know. Okay, RPL you can put in terms of this 100 into XP you can put here, and Rs dash we know it is equal to 2000 K. We needed Rs dash should be equal to 2K. 2K, this RL is given. Okay, and this RPL we put in terms of this XP. Q is given, Q is equal to 20. Circuit quality factor needed is 20. So solve this equation. Just a minute. Hello. Oh sir, first valuation ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮದು ನಂಬರ್ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಓ ಸರ್, ನಂದು ಆಗಿದೆ, ಇವ್ರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಪುನೀತ್ ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಓಕೆ. Hello. Hello, is it audible? Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. This is Rs from this equation, circuit quality factor equation. Rs we know 2K, you substitute RL is a 2K. This RPL you put in terms of this 100 into XP. So from this equation, the unknown parameter is a XP. You get a value of XP. That is around 40 ohm here. Okay. So this XP is also equal to, and RPL. Okay, XP is a XP. If you substitute here, we will be getting this RPL. XP we got a 40 ohm. So you put that in this equation. Equation 2. You will be getting RPL, that is equal to 4 kilo ohm. Okay. And XP is also equal to omega naught into L or 1 by omega C. So from this equation, XP equation, inductor value you get XP divided by omega naught. Okay. So you can get a L value is equal to 63.6 nanohenry. Similarly, from the same equation, XP is also equal to 1 by omega C. Using that, you can get a value of capacitor, that is equal to 39.8 picofarad. Okay, total capacitor we got. So here the inductor value you got and the capacitor value you got. This is a total capacitor. Okay, this value you got, this value. So this L from here, it is equal to 63.6 nanohenry, and the total capacitor 39.8 picofarad. Okay. So now this CT must be divided like this, C2 and C1. Okay, to divide that you can go through this equation again. So what is that? CT is equal to this C2 you take to the denominator, C1 by C2 plus 1, and C1 by C2 ratio we got from the equation 1. See, from equation 1 it is 5.3 C1 by C2. From here we got that, you substitute here C1 by C2. Then simplify this, we will be getting the value of CT we know, that is 39.8 picofarad, and C1 by C2 it is 5.3. Your unknown is the C1, get a value of that, that is equal to 39.8 picofarad. Sorry, C is equal to C1 equal to, you substitute that here, you will be getting C1 is equal to 250 picofarad. Similarly, C2, because we know C1 by C2 is equal to 5.3, C1 we got, you put that in this equation, we will be getting C2. Okay, so like this is the equation, final equation. So we got a CT from the design. Okay, this total capacitor that you can split like this using this equation. We have this. Okay, capacitor is this, and inductor capacitor is split at C2 and C1 here. Okay, this 63.6 nanohenry, and it has a resistance RPL, that is 4 kilo ohm, this inductor, and this is RL 200 ohm. So now even it is a source resistance is 50 ohm. We were not connected any external resistance here. But in the circuit, it looks like the input resistance Rs increases to a value equal to 2K. To the overall network, overall circuit, the circuit feels like there is an input resistance Rs equal to 2k. Okay, just by splitting this. So like input resistance now 2k, RL is also 2k, maximum power will be delivered to the load resistance. Okay, so like that we can increase the input resistance. Two problems are there here. One is the maximum power will not be delivered, and RS is lower means the quality factor is lesser. Okay, both we can solve by splitting this into, that is called as a tapped C transformer, using tapped C transformer. Okay, so this is a problem here. We can also, we will do that in the simulation tool also. We'll observe it in the next classes. Okay. So like this is about a tapped C transformer. Similarly, we can use a tapped L transformer also. Tapped L transformer to increase the input resistance using this equation. We will take an assignment for this tapped L transformer. I will give you that later. Okay, so this is about unit 1. See in your syllabus, unit 1, up to this I have included for your RF and microwave circuit design. Up to this is there for the unit 1. I have completed all this whatever in the unit 1. And I have also given PPT. You go for the first 2 3 classes. You go through the PPT, and afterwards I am putting my videos in the channel, also my YouTube channel. You can go through that. And in the examination, problems may come like this. Okay, design and resonator circuit, and find the insertion loss. There are three different problems as we discussed in the previous classes. One is a simple design. They may ask design a resonator circuit. Okay, like that. Another is design a resonator circuit and find a insertion loss. That kind of questions may come. And next problem is like this: design tapped L or tapped C transformer resonators. Okay, so like three type of problems may come in the examination. Data may be different, but remaining procedure and all is same only. Okay, so I will give some assignment on this one, two, three problems. So you solve them, you can easily get a one. And also you will be getting the confidence if you do these things in the simulation tool. We will put our same values in the simulation tool, and we will see whether the design thing is appearing or not. That also we will see. Okay, and that we will see in the next classes. Okay. So this is about your unit 1. Okay, so that unit 1 the design problems like this will come. Next, as I said, the behavior of inductor, capacitor, and resistor behavior, that also one is there. And typical resonator response plot, that is there. Another is advantages, disadvantages, properties, and the effects of microwaves. Okay, so these things are there in this unit. Okay, I think you can easily attend this question also, this unit also in the examination. Okay, so here that is about our unit 1. Next is unit 2 here. Unit 2. This in the unit 2, we will be seeing some parameters, network parameters. Okay, is it audible to all of you? Hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, so network parameters. So we studied till now this networks like a resonator. Resonator network. Similarly, resonator also behaves like a band pass filter, and similarly you can filter attenuators or phase shifters like that. These are all networks, RF and microwave networks. And as I said, this all these networks maybe it may be a phase shifter, filter, coupler, antennas. So all these if you want to operate, if you want to design at a higher frequency, it is a very challenging task also. Okay, it's because the devices are circuits which are designed for some band, frequency band, will never work for a other frequency band. because that's why that is a challenge is there. Okay, because all these devices whatever we study, that is a circuits and devices used in communication system. You take a trans receiver, in trans receiver there are all these will be there. Okay, so this design if you design these circuits for some low frequency operation, for example now is a 4G and 3G applications, the band is in the order of no, within 2 gigahertz, like a 900 megahertz, within 1 gigahertz. Okay, if you this trans receiver may be designed for that low frequency range in the order of 1 gigahertz and the megahertz range, but we cannot use the same circuits like a phase shifter which was designed for 900 megahertz to the 5G application, like it is in the 27 gigahertz to 28 gigahertz in the 5G application. Say a phase shifter it was designed for 1 gigahertz will never work for 27 gigahertz. We have to go for a different design. Okay, so that is the main problem. That's why if a space shifter is designed for one, if it is used for all other applications, then no problem. But it's not like all whatever we are studying here frequency dependent, very sensitive to the frequency. Even a small deviation in frequency, they may not work. Okay, their performance is entirely different from what they are expecting. Okay, so like that. So that is that's why every application comes. There is a frequency changes. 5G means that is a one. 5G also assigned with the some 5 to 6 like different three brands were assigned for the 5G application. If you design a one circuit for particular frequency, that may not work in the other frequency range. So that is a challenge in here to design all these RF and microwave circuits. Okay, so once we go for this high frequency operation and designing this, as we know, we have to see in any circuit you take, any circuit or any device, whatever it you see, it may be anything may be there here, anything may be here inside this. Okay, see like this. This is a two-port network, for example. This two-port network may consist anything. See like this. This is an amplifier. Okay, this amplifier has many like active devices are there, MOSFET and BJT is there, capacitor, inductor, resistor, many things are there here, and also they are connected like this. But what we are looking, only we are looking at what is the input, what input we are giving and what is the output. Okay, we are not bothering about this circuit, what is inside this sometimes, because in most they are available in the form of ICs. Okay, mixer is available, power dividers are available in the form of a, devices. Okay, so we are giving input here and we are checking output here. That's correct. So that is expected output must come depending on the input, the expected output must come, that what we wanted is. Okay, we at a low frequency what we do. So this is for example amplifier is, it may be gain is equal to 10. Okay, so we are applying input here, we are applying input here. Some example 1 volt, we are applying input as a 1 volt. For example it is amplifier, gain should be equal to 10. What we do, so we are applying signal here and we are looking at here, output voltage is correct, output voltage must be equal to 10 volts. If input is 1 volt, output must be 10 volts. Then what do you come to know, so it is amplifier, it is working as an amplifier, is correct. So at low frequency we do that, apply input voltage and we see the output voltage. If it is giving what we are expecting, so it is amplifier. Okay, like that we check. Usually yeah, all devices and circuits we cannot design. Okay, just we check them whether they are operating to our requirement or not, or performing what assigned job or not, that we are looking. So input here and output here like that. So at low frequency we use the voltages, we are connecting voltage source here and looking voltage source for this, but that doesn't work at a high frequency. Voltage and current we cannot measure at RF and microwave frequency range. There are no instruments, so voltmeter for a gigahertz range. You take a 2 gigahertz, there is no voltmeter which gives a 2 gigahertz voltage of that one. Okay, so we do not have a voltage meter and a current meter and also a meter at a very high frequency operation in the order of gigahertz. Okay, so what we do is we are going for the S parameter measurement as I told in the previous class. Okay, So that is in the lab instruction I told. So see here in the two port network usually represented by like this ports, port 1 and a port 2. At low frequency, we are measuring voltages and current like this: voltage, input current, output voltage, output current. Okay, whatever it may be inside. But by measuring these V1, V2, I2 and I1, we can say what is inside the box. Is correct. It is like a black box. Okay, so here is a whatever it may be here. If you know this V1, I1, V2 and I2, we can come to know what is inside the box. Is correct. You studied that in the network analysis. For example, at some frequency, 1 megahertz, input is equal to 1 put, and output is equal to 10 volts. So what we can come to know what is inside this box, that is an amplifier. Easily you can come to know. So if V2 is automatically 10 volts, means if you are giving 1 volts but getting 10 volts, you can say what is in this box. Okay, so like that, if you measure these parameters, we can say what is inside the box. That's why the parameters are there: Z parameters, Y parameters. So like this: Z parameter, Y parameters, ABCD parameters. Need not to know what is inside this box, but measuring these parameters, Y, Z and ABCD parameters, we can say what is inside this box. Okay, that is why we are going for parameter measurements. Why we go for parameter measurements, that's why. And we are representing that box using these parameters. So if you know this parameter, we can see easily what is inside this box. Okay, so at low frequency, this is the thing what we have: voltage and current, impedance, we are using. But at high frequency, as we do not have a voltmeter and current meter, we have to go for scattering parameters. Okay, scattering parameters. This scattering parameters is instead of measuring voltage and current. Okay, here actually total voltage and total current we are measuring in the low frequency. But here what we have to do, we have to consider the incident signal, incident waves. We have to treat it as a wave. Okay, we cannot treat it as a voltage, total voltage or a total current. We have to treat there is a wave is propagating, because the component or circuit size is comparable with the wavelength. At a high frequency, circuit size is comparable with the wavelength. So there is a many wavelength variation may be there over the circuit. Okay, so we treat the signal as a wave instead of a constant voltage or a current. Okay, so we will treat it as a wave, because you see, for example, this lead is there, this lead, the voltage variation may be like this. See here, this current, this length may accommodate these many cycles of signal. So the signal, if you measure here, it is a high, and if you measure here, it is low. Here is high. The signal strength varies over the length of the conductor. This length of the conductor, because wavelength is very small at a high frequency operation. If you go for 10 megahertz, 10 gigahertz, 100 gigahertz, 50 gigahertz, wavelength is very small. Over a small length here, physically it may be small, but electrically it is large. Okay, so this length may accommodate many cycles like this. It looks like now if you measure at different points over this length, the voltage is different. Okay, that's why we cannot treat this as a voltage, simply voltage. We have to consider the wave. Incident wave is there here, the wave is entering like this, the wave is leaving. So the waves entering are called as incident waves, represented like this. The wave leaving are called as outgoing waves, represented by negative sign like this. Negative represents here outgoing waves. So here incoming waves and outgoing waves. We are treating incoming waves and outgoing waves. Okay, wave means again it has a amplitude and a phase. That wave. What is the amplitude of incident wave and what is the phase of that? That we have to consider phase and amplitude of incident wave. Similarly, phase and amplitude of the outgoing wave. It's like this. Okay, So by taking this, they will measure what is the outgoing, what is the amplitude, and so there is a instrument is there, that is called, it is, there is no voltmeter and ammeter, as I said. There is an instrument is there, that is called as a network analyzer, vector network analyzer. Using that vector network analyzer, we can get the ratio of this incident waves and the outgoing waves. Okay, what is the ratio, how much is going back, how much is entered, what is the amplitude of the input signal, and what is the phase of this. Similarly, how much is going back. Okay, that ratio we can get easily from that instrument network analyzer. Okay, so at a high frequency we do not measure voltage simply like this. We treat as a, there are input signal wave is entering, output wave is going like this. So we are considering the waves at RF and microwave frequencies. As why we are considering, because the length or circuit length is comparable with the wavelength. That's why we have to we have to treat like this. Okay, so at RF and microwave frequency. So the parameters are defined again like this, similar to this ABCD parameters. These parameters are yes, parameters are defined like this. It also has a four parameters, two-port network, S11, S12, S21, S22, like this. Okay, two-port means it has a four S parameters, and this is the outgoing wave at port 1. Suffix represents the port number, negative sign indicates the outgoing. Okay, so this is a V2 port 2. What is this? Outgoing wave at port, and here port 1, this is incident wave, plus sign, incident wave at port 1. This is V2 port 2, incident wave at port 2. See like this, incident wave at port 2. This is incident wave at port 1. This is outgoing at port 1, port 2, in outgoing at port 1, like this. Okay, this is a S matrix. And here each parameters are defined like this, similar to this. V1 by I1 gives the Z11. Similarly, S11 V1 dash outgoing wave, okay, at the port 1, divided by V1 plus, here V1 plus incident wave at a port 1. Okay, and V2 dash is 0. V2 dash means this, we are not inputting any signal at the port 2, like that. Okay, so these parameters S11, similarly S12. Okay, you have to take this suffix is in the numerator always. This is in the numerator. Okay, and it says always outgoing. So it is a V2 outgoing at port 2. Second suffix usually represents the incoming in the denominator. See, first suffix. Okay, it is a subscript. Here is a first subscript. Here is a incoming wave at a port 1, V1 plus. Okay, V2 minus V1 plus. Similarly, S21, V2 plus V2. Sorry, here is this is a S21. Okay, we have that in the next slide. We will see that. Okay, so this is about this S parameters. So definition I have it on here. Okay, before that we will see. Okay, at high frequency, as I said, we are using S parameters. We are considering the waves, and we are using the scattering parameters for the measurement. Okay, because we should see what is the output here, is correct, what is the input, and for any network what we wanted, what is the output that we needed, is correct. So for that measurement is through the scattering parameters at a RF and microwave frequency. Then why we cannot use this, okay, Z parameters and Y parameter, ABCD parameters at RF and microwaves. Okay, that we have to see here why they are not able to use at a RF and microwave frequency range. Okay, that I have given in these slides. Okay, in the next class we will see. Hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. In the next class we will see the next in the next class. Okay.